So to start, let me just kind of back up and I'll show you how to log into your system here. You're going to have a subdomain that you'll go to. So if you just open up a web browser, we recommend Chrome as probably the best one to do so, even though it says Internet Explorer right here. That's kind of outdated. We need to update that. You can use any browser. It will work just fine, but we recommend Chrome. So you just come to here, alliance1.insidesales.com, and then you would just enter your username and password right here, and then click Sign In, and then that's going to take you. I'm going to actually have to go and log in from the back end since I don't have your passwords, but we're going to log in as Gina. So once you put in your username and password and click Sign In, it's going to bring you here to this screen, and this is what it's going to look like. So you'll notice you have a lot of different tabs up here at the top, and this is where you can navigate between different objects in the CRM just by clicking up here on your different tabs. So let's just start over here on the left with the calendar tab, and we'll work our way across and answer any questions that you have. So first of all, you have your calendar tab available to you here, and this is used for just keeping track of different appointments or things on your to-do list that you have. So an event is something that is specifically time-related, where you set up a time like an appointment. So if you have a scheduled call or something like that, or a meeting, you can schedule that on your events. To add an event to your calendar, you'll come over here and click Create Event. It will open up your screen here. Any of these fields in green are going to be required fields that you have to input a value there before it will allow you to save. So we can put in a test event here for Gina. Put a date in, a time, and then how long is it going to last, and then we'll add that to your calendar. You can add additional notes and comments, or you can invite other employees down here. So if it was a meeting, for example, and we wanted to add somebody else, I could invite Tim by starting to type his name right here. It'll pull up their name. You can click Add Attendee, and this will add it to Tim's calendar as well. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. When you're done, go ahead and click Save. And then it's going to add that here as an event. The reason it's not showing up is because we have our filter set to today. So we'll go ahead and change it to all open, and then you'll see our test event shows up right here. You can also filter by whoever created the event as well as who it involves. And then when you're ready to search, just click the Go button. And then you also have a couple different views for your calendar, so you can look at today's calendar and see if there's anything scheduled. You have a week-long calendar. So you can see what you have upcoming there, and then also a month calendar. And then you can just go back to your list view by clicking this icon right here. Tasks are basically all of the same controls. The difference between an event and a task is just more of a to-do list item. It doesn't necessarily have a time limit or a specific time associated with it, although you can set a deadline for that. But everything else is the same. You click Create Task, fill out any of the required fields, and then go ahead and create it. One last thing about the calendar tab is if you're using Google Calendar, you can click this little G up here in the corner, and it will open up the wizard right here that walks you through how to sync up your calendar here with Google Calendar so that it will push events from your Google Calendar into here. That is the calendar tab. Does anybody have questions? I'll assume if you're silent, then that's a no. Okay. So let's move forward over here to the Leads tab. Now we have a lot of different objects within the CRM that you're going to be using. A lead, those are generally considered to be objects that you don't currently have a business relationship with, and you're prospecting to try and develop a relationship like with that. You have accounts here where you have already established some sort of contact with that person, although that may be a prospect, so it's like a warm lead. And then you also have customers where they're already customers of yours. So the controls for all these different objects, leads, accounts, customers, etc., they're basically the same, as well as contacts and opportunities. So we'll go through the leads and kind of delve into that, and then you'll notice that the format for these other tabs, it looks very similar. And so if you can master one of these, you'll be able to understand how the rest of them work as well. A couple other explanations about what the object types are. You have contacts here. Contacts are related to an account. So leads and accounts are your main primary objects in the CRM, and then you have contacts and opportunities, which are sub-objects or secondary objects to these. So you can have an account that has multiple different contacts or different people that may be associated with that account. maybe you have different decision makers or different people involved with it, they would be considered contacts. Opportunities are like different sales opportunities that you have that are associated with a leader account. And you can have multiple different sales opportunities. So for example, if they're interested in different products, you would create a different opportunity for each one of those. Now let's go back over here to the Leads tab. And we'll talk about a few of the functions here. We have a name search, so you can query the database this way by using company name, first name, or last name. You probably won't use this field a lot, but you can also filter by the lead status. So you'll notice down here a lot of different leads have a status associated with them, so you can come in and choose the appropriate one to filter that way. When you've put in the criteria that you want, so we'll search for Tim again in here, and you just click search over here, and it's going to pull up any leads within the CRM that meet the criteria that you've input. And then it's going to display those down below. So right now it's just thinking about it. There may be quite a few Tims in there. Once it runs the query, it's going to display all the different leads down here below in kind of a list view. There we go. So you can find Tim's record right here. You can choose to edit it by clicking right here, delete or convert it into an account. If you want to just view the record, you can click on the name right here. You can see it's hyperlinked, and it's going to open the actual lead record. I apologize, my internet's going a bit slow right now. You can also call people if you have a dialer license. Most of you guys don't, but a few of you do. You can call from right here as well by clicking on the Call Now link. Boy, that's really taking a while. Couple other things. Oh, there we go. So now we're actually looking at the lead record right here. You can see all the information. We're in a view mode right now, so you can't change anything in this mode until you click into edit. You can also scroll down below here, and you'll be able to see any sort of related activities, tasks, etc., that are associated with that account. So you have completed activities here, open tasks that are right here. It also is tracking the lead status, so you can see what lead status this has been in, etc., and any sub-objects that are related to that. If we need to edit anything, go ahead and just click the edit button. It's going to open the same record, but in edit mode, so we can make changes. And this is going to be true of any object. Whenever you make a change in here, it doesn't save automatically. There's going to be a save button right up here that you'll need to make sure that you click if you want to keep the changes that you've made. So now we're in here, and you can go ahead and make any changes that you need to. It's fairly straightforward. You have drop-down menus, just simply select, or if it's a text field, you can simply type it in. One quick note about the description field down here. This is where you can keep specific notes. You can just type in here and leave a note, but the better practice is to use the Add Note button. If you click that, we can put in a note right here in this dialog box. But it's also going to add your name, your username, and a timestamp associated with that, so that you can see who left the note and when. Okay, so that is your lead layout. You can come in here when you're done, go ahead and just hit save. Quick question for Tim and Andy as well. Is there any scenario where they're going to be adding in leads manually or deleting leads? Tim or Andy?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think we're all okay. Thought we were muted.
Is Tim or Andy there? Or did we lose them from the meeting?
They're in Florida, so they might have been washed away.
All right. Well, we'll just go ahead and proceed.
Yeah, they're logged in, but I don't know.
Hey, this is John. I'm up in Panama City today, so I'm not in the office. Yes, they will need to add manual leads.
Okay. So from an existing lead, if you're just changing something, you can clone it. So it's going to input all of the same information by just using the clone button here, and then you can make any tweaks that you need to. If you're just going to create a new lead from scratch, back here when you're on the home page of the Leads tab, you'll just come over here and there's a button that says Create New Lead. You can click on that, and it's going to open a blank lead here in edit mode for you, and you can go ahead and fill it out. Just remember, any of these fields here that have color that's blue around them, they're going to be required fields, and so there has to be some sort of value input into there before it's going to allow you to save. Okay. And if you try and save it without putting any information in, it's going to throw an error message like this, and it'll tell you you need to put something in there, so it will help you remember. Okay, you can change your results per page right here. Right now it's set to 15. You can go up to a maximum of 1,000. That just controls how many are available right here. And then you have different pages as well. So if there's more, you'll see there's 20 total results right now, but we're allowing 15. So if we need to go to the second page, you can control that down here. Okay, there's a couple other things you can do for searching. You have most recent, and this will just pull up the most recent leads that you've looked at in the system and display them right here. And then we also have what we call a global search, which is, if you can see this magnifying glass up here, you can come up here in this box and you can search by email address, phone number, first name or last name or company name in there. And it's going to pull up anything that's related to that. And it will, the nice thing about the global search is it's going to search across every different object type, not just leads. So if you use that, it'll search leads, accounts, customers, contacts, etc. If we want to get into a little bit more granular search within our leads here, then we can check this checkbox here for an advanced search. And this opens up a window or an additional box down here below where we can choose a lot of different filters to run a query by. So for example, we can come in here to the advanced search and we can say, I want to look at all the leads that are owned by Gina, that are part of this specific campaign, that are on these lead statuses, et cetera, right? There's a lot of different stuff you can filter by. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you also have some stuff that's specific to you guys down here, so like different types of software. If you're looking at that, you can come down here and do it. You know, there's Sage Support Plan, et cetera. Then when you're ready to search, go ahead and click Search, and it's going to display the results down here below your advanced search. So that search I did brought back nothing, so I need to change some of the criteria. Also, if you're doing an advanced search and you're putting in a lot of specific criteria and you're using that search a lot and you don't want to have to recreate it every time you want to do it, you can go ahead and put in all of the criteria for that search and then click Save Search right here. It will save all of the different settings for the filters that you have here. And then once you've saved it, it'll be available to you up here in your Save Searches. So you'll be able to come up here, find the Save Search that you have, and go ahead and click it, and it will run all of the filters for you. So you don't have to input them manually each time. So we'll let that run. You also have a clear button right here that will clear out any of the filters that you've put in here. So if I put clear, it just wipes everything out and you can start fresh. Okay, most of you guys can ignore this Start Dialer button. We won't really go into that for right now. Any questions so far on how the Save Search or the Advanced Search? This is probably going to be one of the biggest tools that you're using within the CRM, so I want to make sure that everyone has a good understanding of what the Advanced Search is and how to use it. Okay, no questions. Let me point out a couple other things. You have a mass update tool right here that you can use. So if you're working with a bunch of different leads and you need to change a piece of information on that lead, you can do that by running a search, finding the leads that you want, and then you can either go through and select specific ones by checking the checkbox over here, or you can just you can select all of them right here by checking the box, and then you can mass update. So I can say, you know, I want to update all of these. I need to change them. I need to update the lead status. You'll open up this box right here, and you can say, do I want to do only the ones I selected, or do I want to do all search results? And then you say, you know, I need to put change the lead status on all of these to this specific status, and then you would hit update, and it will go ahead and update all of those records at once. You don't have to go through and change them all individually. So that is pretty much it for your advanced search and your leads tab. And then, like I said, if we go to these other objects over here, accounts, it's the same format, right? You have the name search, you have your advanced search right here. You still have your global search. All of that's the same. Same thing with customers, contacts, and opportunities. You can go through and do specific advanced searches for each different object type. And again, if you want to search across all object types at once, you come up here and use the global search, and it will do that for you. Okay. Reports is something that we're not going to use a whole lot. I'll let Tim and Andy decide what it is we want to go over in here. Your files tab right here. This is basically, it's a files repository, and so if you can use it kind of like an intranet. So if you need to upload a document here that you want everyone to have access to, you can do that. You just click Add File right here. It will ask you to browse for a specific file on your computer by just clicking Choose File. You attach it here, name it in the CRM, and then go ahead and click Save, and it'll upload it here. The other thing that you're going to be using this for is if you're creating email templates to use within the CRM and you have a document that you want to attach to an email, you would first need to upload that document here to make it available for the email template manager. Okay, and then you can come over here and you can look at different stuff. So if I wanted to come over here and look at the About Alliance CA PDF, I can just click on it and then download it right here. And then open it up on my computer just like normal. Okay, you can add different folders to organize documents. You can delete stuff, move it, whatever. Okay, that's your Files tab. That's available for everybody. Campaigns tab, you guys probably won't be using this tab a lot, but I'll go over briefly just what it is. This is where we come in and import leads, and we've just created basically different buckets that we are putting leads into to associate them some way with one another and to separate them from other campaigns. So you can come in here and kind of see the different campaigns that we have, and this is where you would just import data into the system. And then let's go over here to our administrative tab. So on your administrative tab, there's a couple different settings that you can use. You have your personal information. So if you click on there, it just has your personal profile. So you can make sure that all the information that's in here is correct. I don't know. There's a lot of it you guys probably can't edit yourselves. Yeah, we don't even have permission there. So if something's wrong, just let Tim or Andy know. They have their permissions to go in here and edit this stuff. You also have toolbox settings available to you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn some of these on. What these do is on the right-hand side of your CRM, so over here, it's going to add a toolbar. So if you wanted to have something open where you could see your tasks and events that are from your calendar tab, you could go ahead and activate those on your toolbar and hit Save. And then if we go back over to one of your object tabs where you'll be working in the CRM, you'll now see that there's a toolbar that's over here, and it's going to show your tasks and events for that day. So just kind of a way to have a quick view without having to be in your calendar tab all the time. Going back over to our administrative tab, just again your toolbox settings. To activate them, you just simply select the ones that you want, move them over with the arrow keys right here in the middle, and then you can move them up and down as well on your within that toolbar. So if you want something above or below another, you can change that by using these arrow keys over here. So I'll go ahead and take those back off and hit Save. You can also choose to, if you don't like it on the right side, you can put it on the left just by changing the toolbox settings up here. All right, and then the email manager. This is where we can create specific email templates to use. I know Tim's already got a whole bunch of them in here that you guys will be using. So you can come in here and you can see the different folders that they're in, and you can add different ones to there. We're going to go ahead and click into this sample just so you can get an idea of what these look like. So you can click in here, and then if we want to edit it, we'll click the Edit button up here at the top. You need to designate an order for the template and then have a permission. The permission is important because if it's set to individual, only the owner of that template will have access to it. If we change this and make it available to the company as a permission, then every user will have access to that specific template. So if you don't want everyone using your template, make sure it's set to individual. If we're making one standard across, we'll make it a company permission. And then we have a category. This refers to the different folders of emails that we were just looking at. So if we want to put it with a grouping of emails, you can just choose the folder it goes in. Give it a descriptive name so you know what this specific template is for. And then you can put in a default subject line for your email, CCC or BCC addresses, or also a from address if you want to spoof it and make it look like it's coming from another email address. You can do that. You can add attachments right here, and again, this is where it's coming from your files repository over here. So it has to be uploaded in the files repository before you can add an attachment to an email template. And then one cool thing as well is, you have your body down here, and you'll notice there's these weird things in brackets right here. These are called merge fields. And they're basically just a little piece of code that's telling us to grab a piece of data from a record in the CRM and input whatever value is in that field into the email template. So when you're sending this out to somebody, it's not going to say dear first name, last name. It's actually going to input the name of the lead record you're sending it to in there. So to add merge fields, you'll see there's a whole bunch of different ones here. To add those to your email template, you simply choose the object that you want to use merge fields for. Every object has its own specific merge field. So if we're doing leads, for example, we would choose leads as the object type, and then you can come down here and find the appropriate one that you want. So if you wanted to put, say you're the lead owner and you wanted to put your signature down at the bottom of your email and include your email address, you could just simply copy that merge field right there. So you can copy it, or you can just push Control-C on your keyboard and then come down here and input it into your email template exactly where you want it. Make sure your punctuation and spacing is just like you would have it normally, and then it will grab that information for you. Okay. If you want to see all of the different merge fields for every object type, just click on all over here and it has everything. You'll see there's a whole bunch of different ones, so we're not going to take the time to go over everything. But
hey guys, this is Tim.
How to create a template?
Hey guys, real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create just a few simple templates, and then that'll be available to everybody, and then you can take those and just kind of customize them out for yourself. And the only thing you do is just check it off as a personal template, so we don't end up with a list of 100 different templates. So anytime you create anything for yourself, go ahead and make sure you do it on a personal level. That's it. That's all I have.
And like Tim was saying here, you can customize emails that you're sending out still, even though they're a template. So for example, let's see if we can find someone who's got an email address here. Okay. So we'll just run a test here real quick. So if there was an email address in here, and I'll just put mine in as an example, we'd put it in since it was blank, and then we have to save it before we can do it. Then you'll notice right here, when you click this little envelope next to the email address, it will pull up all the available templates that you have. Choose the one that you want. It'll pop it open here in another window, and you can go in and still type stuff in. So if you want to personalize it beyond what the template has, you can do that. You can also add other people if you need to CC people on an email or whatever. And then when you're ready to send it, just click the send button down here. Okay, that pretty much wraps up an overview of the CRM. Anybody have any questions, or Tim, Andy, is there anything else you'd like me to go over?
Yeah, this is Andy. A couple of things, and I had to step out for just a second there. I just want to make sure as we scroll down to the bottom, Will, did you talk about how you can configure the organization of the related accounts, lead status? You can actually control your content down there at the bottom. as well as
didn't cover
those
that,
counts?
so yeah,
You
so that's
did?
a great thing to go. I didn't go over
Okay.
that. I showed them that this stuff was down here, but you can edit what's available and what you're seeing down here by clicking this edit content right here. So if you don't want to see all this different stuff down here, you know, you don't care about notes or recent activity, you can uncheck those boxes or check them just depending on what you want to display, and then go ahead and hit save.
And
then that will
so,
control
guys,
what's
that's
displaying down
important because I learned the hard way. When I was doing the testing, I called Tim and said I can't see where my logged activities are, and that was because on the content my history was turned off. So you know, I had once I checked it, of course, it showed. But just keep in mind on all these objects, you do have the ability to check or uncheck the content as well as the grids. So if you scroll over to the right, yeah, right there.
So right here, you can control the columns that are displaying right there.
And the order.
So if you, yep.
And that's per
So
user?
if you,
Yeah, it is, Jim, per user.
Thank you, Andy.
Yep. So you can
Yep,
you can
and then-
do the order of the grids. You can do the order like field history. I don't know why in the world you'd want it, but you can literally drag and drop, as Mark Jowdy would say, field history all the way to the top if you wanted. You know, so you can change the order of them, those sections as well as those grids, and you can turn on and off the content.
Nice.
Another thing too, I just wanted to mention and I know Will, you're looking at this right now to see if we can default it. But when you all log an activity, there's two different types of activity types. There are events and tasks. So tasks are, you know, just as it sounds, right? So just make sure, because right now it's defaulted as events. And so for most of us on the phone, 90% of the things we put into CRM are in fact tasks, not events. So just make sure when you're doing your entry that you are recording them as tasks. Otherwise, it's going to throw off some of the reporting as well as just in general, it's going to crowd up your calendar. So that's one other, and then another thing, and well, I'm just going to run through these, and if you want to fill in with more detail, you can, or if anyone on the phone has questions, just ask. Another item is, if you go to calendar, Will, there is a Google calendar integration. So, of course, we use Outlook. So we'll call it the creative way of using the Google Calendar, is Google has a plugin that installs on your desktop that will synchronize your Outlook calendar to a Google Calendar. So you're kind of engineering this to really synchronize your events. I've not tested it yet, but there is a tool provided by Google that will plug into your desktop and synchronize your Outlook calendar to your Google Calendar. And so theoretically, you could record, you know, you could see all of your events here within Inside Sales if you did that. Any questions on those things? I got a few other tidbits I've learned. Anything else? Anyone have any questions?
I have a question on what we use the customer tab for.
Okay, that's where I was going to go next. So thanks, Bill. So when you look at a tool such as Salesforce, those of us who are used to that are accustomed to seeing leads, accounts, and opportunities. What Inside Sales did for us, just to kind of keep things a little better organized, is when you look at an account, well, if you could go pull up an account, I don't know if we have it. You can log in as me, and there's some. All right, great. Okay, guys, so when you pull up an account in here, what we've got it set up to do is when you change the type from, as you can see there, it's prospect. When that type gets changed to client, it automatically will then migrate this account over into customers. So we did that to really segregate our clients into its own tab. Contacts are the child to accounts or or customers. So an account would be like a referral source or a a lead that has an opportunity assigned into it. Tim's going to go into like what we would consider triggering events from a workflow standpoint, why someone would go from a lead to an account. But for right now, customers, that tab is built really to house all of our clients.
So CPA firms and bonding agents and stuff like that would be accounts.
Yep, they could. Now here's another really cool thing. Again, for those of us who are familiar with Salesforce, this actually does it a little better. Will, if you don't mind, if you could pull up a lead for me. So we also have what are called related contacts. Kevin will like this. So if you go to pull up any lead, and I don't know if it's if the content is there to see, but we'll see here in a minute. You just scroll down. All right, right there you go. So you see that related accounts, customers, leads? Now that's pretty cool because, you know, as we all know, we're supposed to be getting CPAs, IT, and bonding agents affiliated with the people we speak to. That's going to really work well with this. So what you can actually do is you can assign a contact, which would be who I would assign it. I mean, it could be an account or a lead also. But, you know, if there's a CPA as opposed to a firm that's working with a person that you're working with that's even a lead, you can attach them to this. Likewise with an account or a client, or a customer, I should say. So now you have the capability to actually tie an individual contact, an example would be a CPA, to all of the people that you know they're working with. You'll notice we still have the fields under the stats section in the box. That's related to, because there's some limitations on reporting. So for Mike, we need to still populate those fields. But from a use perspective, for us salespeople, those related contacts and accounts, I think will really be beneficial to use. And again, that's available across all the objects. Trying to think if there's anything else that I kind of figured out here.
Camera.
Yeah.
So is that also related to multiple sites that we may have, or companies related to others?
Yeah, it could be. Yep.
Okay.
It's kind of a vanilla field, so okay. Tim and I kind of were focused on sureties, you know, ITs and CPAs, but a related site, maybe a related company that may have their own instance of Timberline, as an example. You could maybe relate that account to another account, or things like that. Yep. So, Will, those are my tidbits of I know enough to be dangerous. Tim, is there anything that, I don't know if you're, Tim, are you still with us?
Yeah, sort of. I'm still on the phone with ConnectWise, so I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
Trying to get our issue here fixed.
Is there anything you wanted me to talk about as far as reports go, Andy, at this point?
You know, not yet, just because we're still kind of going through those. But if you want, you can just mention there is a custom report writer that's that beta report engine. There's a number of standard reports in here, but also there's also that report writing engine there as well. It's pretty easy to use, but it's definitely not Crystal Reports, guys. It's more like a master builder report writing engine. So there are some limitations there, but it is easy to use. I thought it was anyway. So, Will, if you do want to go over that, feel free.
Will the outlet proposals or quotes attach to the opportunity?
You can do attachments, but we're going to still use QuoteWorks for right now to do our quotes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant QuoteWorks, sorry.
Yep, we're going to still use QuoteWorks. It's not going to integrate with us right now. So you will have to go in and just copy and paste the contact information in and generate your quote out of there still. But once we get the things ironed out here, that might be a second phase that we look at doing, is finding a quoting tool for the software. Okay, well, if you want to kind of go through this, that'd be great.
Sure, I can go through a basic one here. You can just kind of see this is one that we've built for you guys to kind of track your forecasting and your pipeline, so you kind of know what you have coming up. So we have some standard reports up here that you can look at within the custom or within the report engine. So if you need to come up and look at those, you can. A lot of these are more dialer-related reports. So for those of you who are just using the CRM feature, it's not going to have a lot of information up here in the standard reports. But the custom reports, you know, if we're capturing that data somewhere in the CRM, we can probably build a report off of it. So we'll go down here and we have the Sage Pipeline Current Month one open, and we'll go ahead and click Edit this report so you can kind of see what building one entails. The first part is the properties, and you're just going to name your report so you know what it's for. The category, that's just saying what folder is it going to go in when we're organizing stuff. And then the data type is probably the most important part right here. You're choosing what object are we going to be grabbing data off of. Okay, so in this case we're looking at deals, or which are also known as opportunities, and that's how we're tracking the revenue forecasting. It's important too that you make sure you select the correct data type when you're first building the report, because once you've set that, you can't change it. You have to start over with a new report. So just make sure you get the right one, and if you don't get it right, delete the report you created and start over. And then we have our report permissions here. This just controls who can see a specific report. And then building your report, the main part of that's going to come here on your data grid definitions. You choose your primary groupings, which are the rows in your report. And then you can also do a secondary grouping as well, which is like a secondary row. And then over here, your grouping columns, this is the different columns that you're going to display within your report. So to add one of those, you just use the drop-down menu here, find the information that you want to see, and then when you've got that, you go ahead and click Apply, and it adds it to your report down here. Also, if you're looking at specific numbers or whatever, you can add a calculated column where it's adding a couple things together within the report engine. So you would just click Add right here, choose the mathematical function of what you want to calculate, and then when you're done, make sure you label and then click Save, and then that will be available for you to add right here. You can also filter the data, so you can put in like your generic things that you want to look at, but then you could filter and say, for this one, we only want to look at Sage products, right? We're not looking at anything else. And so with the product quoted, we told it not to look at any of these other products as our filters. So it's only looking at Sage. You also have a date filter. So with this report, we wanted to look at the current month we are in for the forecast. But you could change that here, and there's a whole bunch of different options you can choose, including a custom date range. Then you have your graph settings right here, and this is just saying what piece of data are we going to display in our graph. Right now we're breaking it down by employee and looking at the expected revenue per employee, and that's shown in a column chart. And then detail information, that's if we want to drill down a little bit more and see specific information about a specific opportunity. We can go ahead and put in that information here, and you can export that data into Excel or some other sort of spreadsheet if you want. So that's basically it. When you're done, you'll click Save, and then we'll close out of this report. You come back over here. You can refresh the report to make sure everything looks good, and then you'll see down here we grouped it by our employee and stage right here, so we can see everything that Tim's doing, everything John is doing, and then it'll just add it up right here for you. If you want to get more granular and see the specific information for what we have on deck right here, I would just double click that, and that will bring up all of the deals that are part of the on deck, and you can see the detail information here. Then if we want to export it, you have the little function down here. You can click to export that data, and it pops up over here, as a download. You can also choose to export this entire summary report. So if you want to see more than just the drill down information, you want to see the general report, you can export that up here. You can choose how you want to export it, what type of file. You can also customize the date range. So if you wanted to change it from this month, even though that's our primary filter, we could come on here and change and choose the specific range of days that we want to see. And that's pretty much it. Any questions on the report engine?
Account report or a lead report?
Can you repeat that?
How would you print a lead or account report?
How would you print it?
Yeah.
Okay.
How would you bring one up to print it?
I don't know that there's a print function on here. You probably just want to export it and then print it from there. Or you could print your screen on your browser. But if there's a lot of information, then you probably want to export it first and then print it. Any other questions?
I don't have any.
Okay, Tim and Andy, is there anything else we need to go over? I think I've covered everything I had planned.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. I think we can go ahead and wrap it up then. So, now you guys can, with Andy and Tim's permission, go ahead and get in the CRM and start using it a little bit, playing with it so you can get used to how the tool works. And if you have questions, let them know, and I'll work with you to make sure that